And there goes our now infamous theme music. Welcome back to the show, everyone, to the North Penn School District community. My name is Dr Bauer, superintendent here in North Penn School District, and I am pleased to be with you on another episode of Educating with Ease. E as in the letter E, and as a reminder, we are ensuring belonging, elevating learning, embracing our community, and exceeding expectations. So we've had 2 episodes so far, and we introduced 2 new principals in the school district and had fun conversations with both Stephanie Hannon at Inglewood Elementary and Dan Minna, not to be confused with Mina, at Walton Farm Elementary. But as those who have listened, or if this is your first time, I have a co-host who doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. Let's bring in Mr. Bob Gilmer. Cue that music, Bob.
Ooh. I've got my own theme now. I'm joining the show theme. It's coming in.
Is that little hand motion for those who are watching?
Yeah, it's the funk. I'm a 70s child, so I love my funky music.
We have to keep in mind that this is a podcast, so some are listening, not watching. So Bob just did a little dance move.
That's the only dance move I got.
All right. Bob, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful fall day, nice and chippy, good sleeping weather, right? Love October and good sleeping weather.
Yeah. My background is a little different this time.
It is.
For those who are watching, I am home. So we enjoy talking a little bit about like our personal lives, because I think it's important that we get to know one another in the community, build relationships. And I'm home today, family sick day, got a 10-year-old who just this morning tested positive for strep throat. So
that's also a fall thing that happens.
Yes. I was hopeful that it was a changing of the seasons. You know, sometimes the change in weather messes with you, but unfortunately my son is sick with fever. So I'm home today, took a sick day, but happy to be on another episode of Educating with Ease. So Bob, how are we doing so far on listeners, viewers, etc.?
So our stats are growing. So like the first week, our first podcast across all the platforms. So you can find us on Spotify. That's our primary place, Apple, Google, YouTube, Facebook, and also online with WNPV and the radio station.
Is now a good time to pause for station identification.
Let's do it. Hold on.
WNPV Lansdale.
Right there. All right. Love it. Dream come true.
So we had about 843 listens on the first podcast. We nearly doubled that, close to doubling it, over 1,300, close to 1,400 as of today on the second podcast. So there's high expectations for episode 3.
High expectations.
To maybe hit our 3,000 mark and see how many listens we get for episode 3 across all those platforms. And I listened again on Saturday morning. It sounds great. So if you don't have, I don't know if you're seeing this, if you don't have any of the other platforms. However, if you listened last Saturday, at 12 o'clock, this is also on WNPV at 12 noon for it airs at that time as well. So it was a big week at North Penn High School. Homecoming, exciting. So it was a lot of fun. Our homecoming king and queen. It was, I got it here. It was Alyssa Alyssa Blank and Connor Adams. I don't know if anybody can hear that. It's Mrs. Fake is shouting at me because I can't find my notes.
She's the producer of the show, apparently.
Yeah, she's excellent support in the background. Awesome. So anyway, it was an exciting week, and I know we have an exciting guest that had a big part of that too. So I don't know if we're ready for guest time here to introduce our next guest.
I think we are, Bob. So as I said at the top of the show, we've had 2 administrators, but now we're going to one of our teachers who is on a bit of a special assignment for the last few years, creating a new innovative program there at North Penn High School. If you know this gentleman, he doesn't need much of an introduction, just a happy, wonderful asset for the North Penn community, Mr. Chris Frey. Bob, we need some music for Chris. Let's play
There's Chris's music. I'm going to get out of the way. Here comes Chris.
Oh, there he is. So I do this. Yeah, now see, you got to dance a little bit. Yeah, that's his signature. He actually patented that move. Copyright, whatever.
Got it.
All right. So you hear Bob laughing back there. All right, Chris. So welcome to the show. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you, Todd.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we'll get to the professional aspect, but where do you come from? Where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to college? Family life? That kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm a city kid at heart. I grew up in Philly. I'm a classic row home in the city. You know, I threw my sneakers up on the wire, and I've been in front of a fire hydrant. You know, I was allowed to be out until the street lights came on. I mean, that's where I grew up. So that's my heart. So when people ask me where I'm from, I always say the city. I haven't lived in the city in a while. We've been I actually live in Harleysville in Souderton School District now. So been here 21 years. This is my 21st year teaching. I've been to a bunch of schools, undergrad at Temple University for sports medicine. I got my master's at Millersville. I got my principal's certificate at Cabrini. Before that, I got my teaching certificate at Cairn University, which used to be Philadelphia Biblical University. I think that sums up all my education. I'm married. I have a wife, a beautiful wife, Patty, and 2 boys. My one son is literally the same age as your son. Him and Brady are on the same basketball team this year. They're really excited about that. And then I have a son who is a freshman. My wife works at St. Joe's Prep, so he decided to go to St. Joe's Prep as a freshman. So my country bumpkin from the burbs takes a train down to the city and is getting some street smarts and doing really, really good. So that's pretty much it. We got a typical or suburban family. We got a dog. We pretty much are in that phase of our life where most of our stuff revolves around, kids. Our friends are people that we've met through them, going to sporting events and doing those types of things now. So that's kind of where we're at. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, those of you who don't know Chris and his wonderful family, as just described, it is fair to say, Chris is a big guy, right? A healthy 6'5", right? 6? How tall?
Yeah, I used to say it was 6'7". I think I'm shrinking a little bit. So probably 6'6" seems to be I'm about 310 pounds. I would say every 2 to 3 times a week, someone asks me who I played football for. Yes. And usually they mean like what professional or college team. and I did not play any of those sports, but I think I'm the biggest person in the district, or one. If not.
So if you didn't play football, you did partake or dip your toe into professional wrestling, I'm told. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when I was probably right before grad school, I was working, and a friend of mine asked me to try out for what they call the indies, like a kind of the minor leagues of wrestling. And I grew up with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. I love all those guys. And secretly, there's still some teachers in the building who we kind of like it. We're not as dialed as we used to. But yeah, I had this opportunity to try out, and I went to a tryout and I made it. I think it was the NWA was the name. It was like, again, imagine like minor league baseball, but for wrestling. And so for about 6 months, I was training. I was in the ring. I would go to work and work out in the morning, come in the afternoon, and they would call it taking bumps, where you would like fall down and run the ropes and learn how to like tell each other all the moves. So I did have a finishing move. My last name was Frey. My dad always said maybe we could try to keep the family name out of the wrestling. I came up with a move called the Deep Fryer, which was a great name, I thought. Maybe it could be like a chef. They were like kicking around this idea that I'd be like a chef, and I'd come out and have him in the deep fryer. So, it's kind of become a legend here. Every now and then kids will ask me, my brother told me this, and it seems so far off that they're usually don't believe it. But yes, that's my one of my claim to fame here.
That's amazing. I love the name, the signature move, the Deep Fryer. So Bob has his dance. You have the Deep Fryer. Love it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I did say when we introduced you there that you're on a special assignment in an innovative new program here in the school district. It is called the CHIP program, which stands for Community Hosted Internship Program. It's an acronym. We like to use acronyms in the world of education.
Yeah, in education. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. So tell the community and the listener a little bit about CHIP.
Yeah, so CHIP, I describe CHIP as an internship and career readiness program. The goal of CHIP, juniors and seniors at North Penn, anyone can register for CHIP, and the idea is to help students with their plan when they leave North Penn. Our goal is career readiness for everyone. When I go into classrooms, I say every student here is leaving North Penn eventually, whether it's through college, a trade school, the military, right into the workforce. The best part about CHIP for me, because I was a health and phys ed teacher first, is it was made clear from day one from everyone that this was for everyone. This was not just for the college kids or just not for the college kids. This is for everyone. So basically the CHIP program is you can, outside of school, students complete hours. They can do them in the summer, a lot of students do them in the summer going into the school year. Those hours need to fall kind of in one of 3 categories or a mix and match. We kind of name those categories. The first one I call career centric, and that means that you're doing something. It can be a paid job. It could be volunteering. Sometimes it's you do all 70 hours in this. Maybe it's just one time, you have a 1 hour thing, but it's basically your time is around a career. So if you're interested in being a physical therapist, we try to get you with a physical therapist, or volunteering. Sometimes they can even hire part-time in a PT clinic. Maybe you volunteering in a local hospital. We have some guest speakers that come in. Maybe we have a PT coming in. You have an opportunity to sign out of a class and come down here and hear from a professional who's doing the job that you think you want to do. The idea behind that for Career Centric is we want our students to know kind of all the good and the bad. We try to avoid that typical, I had a major somewhere sophomore, junior year. I changed my mind because I got exposed to some new things where I really learned what that career is like. And turns out it's not the thing I thought it was. And so we try to give some of those experiences now. Our second one we call career oriented. In talking to our local businesses, the word soft skills, or sometimes people call them professional skills, keeps coming up. And, this generation of students, they're very different than us. My father, I graduated high school in 1992. My dad graduated from the same school in 1965. We took the same class in the same room. We both took typing in the same room. We might even have the same teacher. I don't even know if it was. Nowadays, if you brought a kid from North Penn who was here 5 years ago and brought him back, they would notice drastic differences. So we've had a lot of change, and that generation communicates with each other very differently. And I don't want to beat up on kids and say that they don't have these skills. The things that Todd and I, we naturally do in the workplace, younger people don't seem to communicate in the same way. So there's some things that they need to work on. And so if I have a student, again, that same student who might want to be a physical therapist, but they're working across the street at Weiss, how does that help them? Well, here's what I know. When you work at Weiss, you got to talk to a lot of different people, more people than the average student. You got to problem solve. You have to manage your time. You have to work with people that you like and that you don't like. You have to work with different managers. And those skills will transfer to anything you do moving out. So if we can kind of harness some opportunities to work on those skills and try to connect the dots after, say, a part-time job, that can actually count towards hours. And then the last thing we do is career exploration. So my job, besides dealing with students here, is to go out in the community and try to find partners that are willing to have us. We bring some kids in for a field trip. On Friday, we had 2 different sets of groups go out to 2 local manufacturing plants. One was called SEMA, which makes signs locally, and one is called Penn Color, which makes basically the colors and dyes that go into almost everything in our life. We got 10 kids go out to each place. They get talked to by the president and CEO. They get a presentation on different types of jobs, both kind of more in the manufacturing, hands, trade stuff, also in the supply chain management, design, maybe more office, maybe more even college track. Then they usually get a tour of the facility. Actually, they sometimes even let them try some hands-on stuff. And what we do is we have kids that come back and say, man, I didn't even know that was out there, right? Or, right. I had a student who is kind of interested in art as like a career, but is very leery that art could be challenging, and came back from the sign company and said, I didn't realize that I could use my artistic skills and do something like that I could make things that do that. That could be a career for me. So usually we also connect. I know that they gave business cards out. They offer, I think 2 of those kids are going to go back for job shadows. And one of them, even when they turn 18, can go back for a part-time job to maybe even start. That one person in particular is looking to go right into the workforce. So they could literally be set up, start getting some skills. Day after graduation, they could be a full-time employee. Most of these places, I know the one that we're talking about offers tuition reimbursement for college, so they could still get that college education if they'd like to over the course of the next couple of years. They can be developing skills, upward mobility, tons of opportunities. So, CHIP kind of does a bunch of different things. It is unique. It's hard to say exactly what it does because every kid's different. The kid who comes in and I want to be a neurosurgeon. All right, your college track, you have some real specific needs. And I have another kid who comes right after him and says, I have no idea what I want to do. And both those kids are perfectly fine. I tell them that there's nothing wrong with it. They're going to have kind of different experiences. So trying to find opportunities for both of them is really what we're doing with the program.
Well, really exciting. Obviously, the listener can tell that we have the right person doing it because your passion and energy for it is absolutely infectious. How many kids are we talking, Chris? How many kids are involved at this point?
So last year we started, I think we had 97 that got through, and we're at almost 150 right now. So kids can still be added to CHIP. So we're seeing growth. One of the greatest challenges, I know when you were the principal here and at a big district like this, communication. Last year was our first year. So I really do feel that as the message gets out, more and more kids, more and more parents are interested in getting this. So I really do think we'll see growth that will continue for this. I always say, every time I go out and tell a parent what I do, I've never heard, every single adult has said, man, I wish they had that when I was in school. And I think, to me, that tells me we're in the right spot, that we see value there. And we've had kids that have had really, really good experiences, both reinforcing what they want to do. And then a kid that challenges, kids positive they want to do this. They come back and like, yeah, that's not for me, and that's great. So.
Well, obviously, Bob and I try to keep our guests because we recognize you're at work right now. Try not to keep you for too long, but if you have the time, I know that there's another really exciting opportunity in a partnership with the VNA and the North Penn Education Foundation involving some really unique technology. Can you tell the listeners about that?
Yeah, we were really fortunate. I was in a meeting with the VNA, and there was some grant money available, and they were looking for an opportunity. And here I'm going to grab right here. This is called an Oculus Quest. This is if you have a young kid in your house, they probably have a video game where they're playing golf or baseball or something on this. But we have 6 of these in here. And what they do is they allow a student to put these on and try out different careers. So I literally, right before this, was just for the first time in a class. So we partnered up groups of 3. One student was using this VR goggle and maybe installing solar panels on a building. And it was really neat to see the kids. They're looking down, that these are fully immersed in. You're using handles. You're literally doing things, little 10 to 15 minute simulations. While they were doing this, we had another student doing a career inventory, and another student doing a little survey that talked about things they liked, and it tried to connect them to some jobs so they could do some exploration. So, in a period, we had 3 students that were trying each of these things and really starting to link up to that career exploration part of it. So we have these in the building. I believe we're the only school in Montgomery County. The IU has a program where they'll lend you one. I know some schools have had one, but we have these in the building. Students could come down during lunch and try them out. Everything from medical to the trades, automotive, manufacturing. There's even some things for hospitality. I'm going in Thursday to our post-12 class, which specifically there's a simulation on here that deals with a fire extinguisher, which is something we actually teach our kids to use in our post-12 classes, but we're unable to actually do it. And here they'll be able to have this on, and there's actually a simulated little fire in front of them. So again, another part with CHIP where this is for every single kid here, whether you're going to the college level, right into the workforce, whether you're graduating now, whether you're going to stay here post-12, this office here, our Future Plan Center and CHIP, is really for every single kid at North Penn.
So not only parents and students who are listening, but also business owners in the community, anyone. And if they want to get involved, or let's say I own a company and I would like to have some North Penn students get an experience at my company, how should they go about?
Can I have your attention, please?
Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
We can pause there. You can mute for a minute. Let's pull Bob in while we're waiting. Give us a sign when you have there he is. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Bob, so while we're waiting for the announcements at the high school, which is a 7-time-a-day thing.
Always happens. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't hear the announcements in your office, interestingly enough.
Well, I have I don't have a paging speaker directly above me like Chris does.
Yeah, that is right above me. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So I think we left off, and then we're going to close it out here, let you get on your way, Chris. But how should parents, students, business owners, anyone in the community that wants to get involved, get involved?
This program has grown because we've had the support of the school, but also because as soon as we put stuff out there, our community jumped on board. If you're out there and you are looking for anything like, You could have high school students that could be part-time workers for your work. And again, it could be in a career that would look like career oriented or just part-time work. If you are willing to come in and be a guest speaker for a career path, if you're willing to have a student in for an internship, that would be like a recurring thing. It does not have to be pay. It could be. Even if you're in for a word we use now as a job shadow, where maybe as a kid had a half day, I think Wednesday is an early release. Maybe a kid could come for 2 or 3 hours just to follow you around, see what your career or see what the job is like. If you have any of those things or anything in between, if you'd like to become involved with this, if you want to help the next kind of generation of workforce, please contact me. The easiest thing to do would be to email me at Frey, FREYCC @npen.org. I'll get back to you right away, figure out what can work, what cannot work. Sometimes we don't have something right away, but in 2 months, I have a student who's really interested in that and we could connect. We do a really big job fair in the spring. So if you're looking for workers, staying connected with me could be something that's really, really good. So, if this intrigues you and you would like to be involved with this, emailing me, I would love to talk to you about possibilities because, we have 1,000 kids or 2,000 kids technically that could potentially sign up for this. We need our community behind us, and they've done a great job. And now we kind of, our second year, know a little more what we're asking for now. So it's going to be good.
Oh, great. So we joked at the beginning here of this interview about the deep fryer move on the wrestling mat. But I think that pitch there, your elevator pitch for the 1 minute of why someone should get involved or how they can, is the new finishing move. So that's the deep fryer. But again, FREYCC @npen.org. If you'd like to get more information, set up a time to chat with Mr. Frey. Let's pull Bob back into the conversation here. And Bob.
Hello.
You talked to me about wanting to add a small segment.
Here we go. New segment alert.
We need.
That's the sound for new segment alert. So
okay.
I was thinking about this because it's October and it's the fall and little small wins, right? A little bit of small win. There's lots of things to appreciate, but in our lives, sometimes something comes up and it's annual. Like, this is me. Pumpkin spice has been out and I'm loving it. I love the pumpkin spice coffee at Wawa. There's a lot of hate driven at the pumpkin spice. The appropriate place for pumpkin spice is in your coffee. It is delicious. I love it. So I'm just wondering what your small win is this time of year. What are the things that you just go, thank God I have that today.
Oh, this is a good one. So, and I like this. So what are we going to call this? Small wins? This segment?
Well, again, I love contests. Somebody has a better name. Tell us.
Okay. All right. Oh, there's that bell again. All right. So my small win for the fall, seasonal, if you will, is I love the smokeless fire pit. Ooh. Whoever created that convection thing with a campfire so you don't stink like a campfire. You don't have to take a shower every time you sit around the fire because the great weather the last couple nights. We didn't talk about the Eagles or the Phillies win with very exciting weekend for Philly sports. But both nights I watched the Phillies and Eagles respectively with a smokeless fire pit. So love the smokeless fire pit. Not as much into the pumpkin spice stuff as you are, but I can appreciate it once in a while.
I appreciate it. It's not all year round. It's like that little window of time. Real quick, did a quick Google search. Apparently in 2011, the first ever smokeless fire pit was created by Andy Kaufman Jr.
Andy, love you. We love you.
And Troyer, it says. Maybe his name's Junior Troyer. Andy Kaufman and Junior Troyer. Thank you, Andy and Junior. All right, Chris, what do you got? Small win.
First of all, Mr. Gerber, I've never had coffee. 48 years old, never had coffee. So I've never had a pumpkin spice anything. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I've never had coffee. You know what? Sleeping with the window open. That's a simple one for me. And also, Todd, in a 24-hour window, I'm going to watch an Eagles game. I watched a preseason Sixers game last night and a Phillies game. Can't beat that. I'm not a huge Flyers fan, although I think there is a Flyers game in there too, so that's pretty good. So that's mine. Just a real quick one. I won't talk too much, but my big win, though, little win on Friday, we did the pep rally. And we've done this pep rally. First of all, kids were phenomenal. Energy was great. Black light. If you haven't gone to, and it's probably on North Penn Television, Bob.
Absolutely. YouTube.com/NPTV.
Yeah, and there's a great clip. But we did a contest where 5 seniors got to shoot a half-court shot, and if they made it, they got to go on the senior trip to Disney World for free. And we brought these kids in. We let them practice. We filmed a little segment on it. They were really nervous and excited. And this kid comes up, third kid. He kind of grandmas it between his legs and nails it. And I mean, when you say blew the roof off the place, it was insane. It really.
Let's listen to the crowd for a second. I'm going to throw some crowd in. Ready? There, he hit it. Unbelievably, I can't believe how loud it is in that gymnasium.
Yeah, it really was loud. It was really cool. So I actually saw Dr. Hart later on Friday, and she happened to be there, and she was blown. She was like, she didn't expect that. So it was a really great compliment to hear how exciting it looked, and it went so well. And I was so happy for that kid and for our students. There wasn't a kid booing. There wasn't anyone. There was nothing but everyone in that gym thrilled for that guy. And to me, that was such a great way to end. I left here. I was floating when I left here. It just was a great day. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thanks for putting a smile on everybody's faces, Chris. We are appreciative of the job that you do and the person that you are. Thanks for joining us on Educating with Ease. And now you can go back to your business, inspiring students. Feel free to sign off here, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Hope your son feels better. See ya.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. All right, Bob, now before we go, you did mention that you wanted to have give a couple shout outs or something.
Yeah. So on our Spotify page, if you go to it when you sign up to follow our podcast here, we had somebody give a shout out to Peggy Deininger over at the ESC for bringing in her garden treats or treats from her garden and always being so positive every day. Of course. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy.
I heard from Kenny Boy, assistant principal here at North Penn High School. And if you remember last week, we had a whole Kenny theme because Kenny gave us a shout out earlier in the week, and he came running in on Thursday morning. I'm so excited for my theme song. So if you want a theme song, get yourself in a shout out. We're going to find a Peggy theme song. Wait, there's Peggy's.
There you go, Peggy. Okay.
We have a Kenny theme song.
There's Kenny's.
Okay, so shout it out. We're going to give you, and we know we had a Bill Patchell shout out last week, right?
We did.
One of our residents. So Bill, here's your theme song. We got 3 You want a theme song? Give us a shout out. We'll get you a theme song. So that's how that's going there. So yeah, a lot of feedback off the podcast. We appreciate everybody engaging with it. Ask us those questions. Even on the Facebook page when you see it posted, the video side of it, you go ahead and throw questions there. We'll bring it up in the next podcast.
Absolutely. This is definitely a way we want to engage the community, kind of go beyond the typical email, website, social media posts, but really hopeful that this becomes a routine for folks. We're hoping to have the podcast hit on Thursday evenings, I think, so you can listen on your Friday drive, listen on the weekend, whatever. But we appreciate you subscribing, liking, and sharing, of course. But over 1,300 listens. That's pretty great for episode 2. I'm pretty pumped about that.
High expectations on this one. So keep refreshing if you want to help us out too. You could do that too.
Oh yeah. Just like listen and then refresh and listen.
You missed something. You want to go back and listen again. It's okay. You can do that. So a couple quick other shout outs. October 2nd was National Custodian Day. And it's also Principal Appreciation Month as well. So thank you to all those folks. There's like an appreciation day for everybody, every day almost. But they're 2 folks that help us out a lot. We talked about our custodians and our facility staff last week, but it was National Custodian Month or Day. So shout out there. So if that's what we're going to, if you need theme songs and such, keep shouting out. And that's what we'll take care of right here.
Love the positivity. Loved having Chris Frey on. Looking forward to hearing who our next guest will be. Bob, I think it's time to cue that outro music. And thanks as always for joining us. And everyone, thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody.